Hello guys, welcome back to VC Tech. Imagine connecting two offices across the internet as if they were on the same local network. However, fully encrypted, fully secure, and invisible to attackers. In today's video, we are going to talk about Site-to-Site IPsec VPN. I'm also going to show you how it works from the ground up, breaking down phase 1, phase 2, and every single command you need to understand for you to be able to configure IPsec VPN. For this tutorial, we are going to be making use of 3 routers, 2 switches, and 2 host devices for each local area network. We also have our Site A router, as well as we have our Site B router, and also the ISP router. For Site A to be able to communicate with the ISP router and also the Site B, I've configured the routing protocol and also assign IP address to the interfaces of the router. If you don't know how to configure a routing protocol or assign IP address to the interfaces of the router, I suggest you watch the previous videos. For today's tutorial, we are talking about IPsec VPN. IPsec VPN is a technology that allows devices or network to communicate securely over an untrusted network, like the internet, by encrypting our data. For us to be able to configure IPsec VPN, we have to enable security feature on the router. Let's check the router to see if the security feature is enabled already. So how do we check if the security feature is enabled on a router? We see do show version. And as you can see on this level, the security features are all none. So we are going to need to activate the security feature on the router before we can be able to carry out configuration of IPsec VPN on the router. Now, how do we activate the security feature on the router? We see license, boot, module, C2900, and technology package, and lastly the security feature. This is the command we need to enter before we can activate or enable the technology security on the router to allow us to configure IPsec VPN on a router. So we say yes. And let's check one more time, do show version. As you can see, previously when we checked, we got nothing on the security. However, now we have, for the IP base K9, we have security K9 activated. So, meaning all the security features has not been enabled. So while we were enabling the security feature on the router, there is a command called boot. Now we are going to need to reboot the router for the router to be able to reload and have all the security features activated. So we say do reload, say yes, confirm. So let's head back and check one more time and see if our security feature on the router has been enabled. So do show version one more time. Now, as you can see, the security feature on the router is now active and ready for us to configure our Site-to-Site IPsec VPN on the router. Now let's also head over to the second router and do the same configuration. Before we take one step further and configure our access control list to permit Site A to communicate with Site B, and also do the same configuration on Site B to communicate with Site A. So for the Site B router, we need to enable the technology feature for security. So we can do that by saying license. If we check do show version on this router, you're also going to see that the security feature here has not been enabled. So let's do that real quick. So we say license, boot, module, T2900, technology package, and security K9. We say yes. And if we say do show version one more time, you're also going to see that all the security features are not activated yet, as you can see over here. Now let's do reload. So our security features can be fully enabled on the router. So let's do that one more time. Let's say do show version one more time. Do show version. You can also see our security features are fully enabled on the router. Now let's head over to the Site A router and start our configuration for access control list to permit Site A network to communicate with Site B network. So access control list, we want to be using an extended access list. So ACL 130 to permit IP address of 192.168.1.0, the entire network. So with a wildcard bit of 0.0.0.255, and also our destination network is going to be the Site B network, which is 192.168.2.0 with a wildcard bit of 0.0.0.255. We've created our ACL on the Site A router. Let's also head over to the Site B router and also configure our ACL. So access list 130 permits IP address of 192.168.2.0, the entire network, 0.0.0.0.255, which is the subnet, and also the destination network is going to be our Site A network, which is 192.168.1.0 with a wildcard bit of 0.0.0.255. Guys, we are done with the easy phase. Now let's get into the main objective for today's tutorial, which is to configure IPsec VPN on a router. When configuring IPsec VPN, there are two phases to it. We have the phase 1, which is the Internet Security Association Key Management Protocol. It is the framework that sets up the security between two VPN devices. It does not encrypt data itself. However, it helps devices agree on how the data should be encrypted. Think of it like this. Before two routers can communicate securely, they must agree on the encryption method, the hashing algorithm, authentication method, and also the key. Internet Security Association Key Management Protocol handles this negotiation process. Now, I'm going to show you how to configure the first phase of IPsec VPN. So, the first phase, what we are going to do is to say crypto ISAKMP. We also specify policy and also a policy number. For this, we are going to be using policy number of 10. Then next, we want to talk about the encryption. The encryption, we are going to be using AES. This line right here means this is how the traffic will be encrypted. So the traffic will be encrypted in AES, and we are going to be using a hash. The hash is used for integrity check. So we are going to be using SHA, which is the secure hash standard. And we have authentication. Authentication is used to check the password between the both routers. So authentication, we are going to be using pre-shared key. And lastly is the group. This is where the key exchange is being made. So we are going to be using group 5 for this. We've created the framework, or we've created the protocol that phase 2 is going to be using to encrypt its data. Remember, as I said, Phase 1 is the framework that helps Phase 2 execute or carry out the Site-to-Site IPsec VPN. Now let's create a pre-shared key that a Site A router and a Site B router will be making use of for them to be able to connect. So crypto, Internet Security Association Key Management Protocol, and our pre-shared key, we want to be using Cisco as our pre-shared key. And also the address, you can also query to see what is next, because the pre-shared key, if I should query one more time, you're going to see word. This word means you can call it whatever you want, because this is what the Site A router and the Site B router will be using to connect, as this is their pre-shared key, the key that they are supposed to have, and it's supposed to be the same for both routers. So the pre-shared key, we are going to be using Cisco, and the address, we are going to be using the IP address of the outgoing interface of Site B, because right now we are configuring on the Site A router. So we are going to be using the IP address of the outgoing interface of Site B, which is the interface of interface serial 0/3/0. It also has the IP address of 10.0.1.1. So let's go back to our configuration and say 10.0.1.1. By doing this, guys, we are done with the phase 1 of Site-to-Site IPsec VPN. Let's also head over to the Site B router and also do the same configuration, because for this configuration to actually work, we have to do the same configuration on the Site B router, and also the pre-shared key should also be the same on the Site B router. So let's continue our configuration for the first phase on the second router. So crypto Internet Security Key Association Management Protocol with a policy number of 10. We also want to specify the encryption. This is how the data is going to be encrypted, so AES. But we also wanted to use hash for integrity check, so SHA. And the authentication, we're making use of the pre-shared key. And lastly, the group, which is the key exchange, we'll be using group 5 for key exchange. And after doing that, after setting the framework for the phase 1 of Site-to-Site IPsec, let's also go and specify our pre-shared key. So crypto ISAKMP with our key on the Site A router is Cisco, so we are going to be using the same Cisco. And address, we are going to be using the outgoing interface of the Site A router. So the Site A router has the IP address of 10.0.0.1. Guys, we are done with configuring the first phase of Site-to-Site IPsec VPN. Now let's head over to the second phase. The second phase, this is where we combine the first and the second. Remember, the second cannot work without the first. So we need the first phase in place before we can enable or configure the second phase. So the second phase for Site-to-Site IPsec is Internet Key Exchange. It is the stage where devices create IPsec Security Association and also define how real data traffic will be encrypted. So for the phase 1, we build a secure tunnel, while for the phase 2, we use that tunnel to negotiate encryption for actual traffic and also build our IPsec tunnel. So let's start the configuration for our phase 2. First of all, we say crypto, and we specify IPsec transform sets. Then we also give it a name, so for this we are going to be calling it VIC-set, and we also want this VIC-set to be making use of a particular encryption, which is the ESP-AES encryption, and we also want it to be making use of integrity, the integrity check, which is the ESPF-SHA. This line right here is used for integrity check, while this line right here is used for encryption. So while we are done configuring with that one, let's head over. Let's take the configuration one more step. This is where we combine the phase 1 and the phase 2 configuration together. We create a crypto map, and we want to call this VIC map. And also specify the policy number. Remember when we were configuring the phase 1, we gave it the policy number of 10. And also, this is the phase where we combine phase 1 and phase 2 together. So the policy number of 10, and we specify IPsec-Internet Security Association Key Management Protocol. Now we are on that interface, and it is telling us that it is going to remain disabled until the pair is complete with the other router. So let's continue our configuration so we can finish up and go to the other router, so the both routers can be paired, and you're going to see how it works. So first, let's talk about the description. We want this router to connect to, we want this VPN to connect to the site B router, connects to site B. And next we want to set the pair. If we query, we have things that we can use. So we've already configured about description. Next, let's go and set the pair. So we want to set pair. When setting the pair, we are going to be using the outgoing interface also of the site B router. The site B router has the IP address of 10.0.1.1. And also we are going to need to set the transform set. The transform set is going to be VIC set. Remember we already did something like that here, VIC set. So the transform set is going to be VIC set, and this is where we match the ACL that we created. So this is our last configuration for the phase 2. We match the ACL we created a while ago. So address, and remember we were making use of 130 for our ACL that we created. We can go back and verify that. So this is our ACL access list with an extended number of 130. So we are done with configuring the phase 2 configuration of IPsec VPN on a router. We are done on the first router. Let's head over to the second router and also do the same configuration. Remember, it has to connect, like it has to correspond for site A and site B to be able to communicate. So first, what we do is we say crypto, and we say IPsec transform set. This is where we pick the encryption and also the integrity check of our configuration. So we want to be using VIC set. Remember, it is supposed to correspond. And our encryption, we want to be making use of AES. And also our integrity, we want to be making use of SHA. After that, let's head over and merge our phase 1 and phase 2 configuration together. So crypto map, we're about to create our crypto map, and we want to call this VIC map just the way we have on the site A router, with also our policy number of 10, and also want to specify IPsec and ISAKMP. You can also see that it is telling us that it is still disabled until it is paired to another router. So first, let's talk about our description. So this VPN connects to the site A router, connects to the site A router. Next, we want to set the pair. The pair is going to be the outgoing interface of the site A router, which is 10.0.0.1. And also we are going to set the transform set. The transform set, which is vic.set. And lastly, we are also going to need to match the ACL that we created, which has the ACL number of 130. So after doing this, let's save our configuration. So do right and also do right on the Site A router. Now we've configured Site-to-Site VPN on both Site A router and Site B router. However, it is not going to work unless we apply it on the interface of the router. So how do we apply on the interface, and what interface are we supposed to apply on? We are going to apply our configuration on the serial interface, which is interface serial 0/3/0. So once we are in the interface, we say crypto map, then we specify the map that we created. Remember, we created the map, so we specify this map, which is VIC map. So we say VIC map. So by doing that, you can see that our Internet Security Association key management protocol is now on. Let's also go and do the same configuration for the Site B router and see if we get the same result. So interface serial 0/3/0. So we want to say crypto map, and we also want to specify VIC map. Now on the second router, our Internet Security Association key management protocol is also enabled. Now let's head over to the host devices and try to ping and see if our configuration is going to be able to go through. So this device has an IP address of 192.168.1.7. Let's also check from this device and see what IP it has. So this has 192.168.2.7 also. Now let's try to ping from the Site A router to the Site B network. So ping 192.168.1.7. As you can see, we are able to ping the device in the Site A local area network. Now let's troubleshoot and see what our configuration looks like on the router. Let's see if our traffic was actually encrypted. So we can check by saying do show crypto IPsec SA. Now, as you can see, it is telling us that our local address for the Site A router is making use of the outgoing interface of 10.0.0.1. And also, the remote site that we are trying to get to, or the remote network that we are trying to get to, which is the 192.168.2.0/24 network. As you can also see, if you look closely, you're going to see encrypt. Because we were able to ping a device in the Site A network, that is how we got this encrypt number right here. And you can also see decrypt. This means that our configuration is running on real time. If we try to ping one more time from this device and we go and check this right here one more time, you're going to see that there is an increment in the number. So it means our configuration for Site-to-Site IPsec was accurate, and we were able to encrypt our data from Site A going to Site B and vice versa. So we've successfully built a secure Site-to-Site IPsec VPN. Not only are both networks communicating, but all traffic is encrypted, verified, and protected from interception. If this video helped you understand all of that, and also help you understand how Site-to-Site VPN works, how to configure it on a router, and also enable security features on a router, why not smash the like button, like this channel, and subscribe? Because in the next video, we are going to be talking about something even more interesting. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.